think it is 7 o'clock according to my mobile device, and we have just about everybody that's going to be here for right now. So I am going to call the Monday, November 23rd, 2020 Royal Oak City Commission meeting to order. We're going to begin with a roll call vote. Mayor Mike Fournier, zooming in from Manatee County. Commissioner Perush.
Here.
Commissioner Douglas.
Here.
Commissioner Macy.
Melanie Macy from Mayoral Oak. Here.
Commissioner Colo.
Here.
And Commissioner Dubuck.
I'm here from Royal Oak.
All right, very good. All right, well, tonight we're starting at 7 p.m. And we're going to adjourn to closed session to discuss attorney-client privileged information as well as pending litigation. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Commissioner Perush, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Dubuck. Any discussion on the motion? All right, I'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Commissioner Dubuck.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Perush.
Yes.
And I vote yes. And we will enter closed session. Ms. Schwanger, please let us know when we've successfully entered the closed session. Thank you. It is 7:32. We're going to resume the Monday, November 23rd, 2020 Royal Oak City Commission meeting. At 7 p.m. we had adjourned the meeting to go into closed session to talk about attorney-client privileged information and pending litigation. We exited the meeting and now we're here to start the regular part of our meeting. Just a couple notes before we begin. Commissioner Colo is present. He is having a technical issue and just rebooting his computer, so he'll be joining shortly here. And also this afternoon, we received word from Commissioner Levasseur that he will be in effect resigning his post as city commissioner here effective immediately today. So we'll hopefully be able to talk a little bit more about that as the meeting goes on, if someone's willing to add that to the agenda. So I don't want to weigh down the beginning part of our agenda here today because we have some important business before we get to the meat of the agenda. So we're going to begin with an invocation given by Commissioner Douglas, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Douglas.
Thank you, Mayor. So it falls to me to give thanks here for 2020. It's been an awful year, but maybe that brings into sharp focus some of the basic essential things that are deserving of our gratitude. We thank hospital workers, from the janitors to the doctors, and especially the nurses who risk their own lives to protect ours. We thank our restaurants who pivoted to carry-out service and, overcoming impossible odds, are still open to feed us. We thank our governor who has risked unpopularity and endured threats to her family's life and safety to keep us safe. And we thank everyone who wears a mask and who stays home. There may be empty chairs at our tables this Thursday, but there will be food. For that, let us thank the people in the fields, in the processing plants, in the warehouses and grocery stores. For some, the only food on their Thanksgiving table will come from the generosity of others. So, to the churches and nonprofits whose mission is to feed those in need, has been sorely tested in these last 9 months, thank you. And I'll conclude with my heartfelt thanks that in 39 days, 2020 will be over. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for those wonderful words, Commissioner Douglas. Now is the time for the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask that you stand if you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, before we get on to the next piece of business, I also want to take the opportunity to welcome Ann McLaughlin. Ann is going to be, at least for the foreseeable future, taking over for Dave Gillum, who we all know departed for a new assignment to be city manager of Wolverine Lake. And very exciting opportunity for him. That's actually where he lives. And Ann comes to us with a lot of experience and, is going to hit the ground running. And we're excited to welcome her on behalf of Royal Oak. And thank you for helping step in and fill some big shoes with Mr. Gillum. But, Mr. Gillum also had a lot of great things to say about you. So we have no consternations whatsoever. And we're eager to have you help shape Royal Oak's future while you're here, Ms. McLaughlin. So thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. It's my pleasure to be out with all of you, and I am honored that you've selected me to act as interim city attorney until you find a permanent replacement for Mr. Gillum. Perhaps replacement isn't quite the word because he'll never be replaced, but someone to fill that position for the city on a permanent basis.
Thank you. All right, and I see some wonderful members of our library board here today, and that brings us to item number 7 on our agenda, which is library grants and Giving Tuesday updates.
All right, thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Commissioners, for allowing us to speak tonight. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Emily Dumas. I am the Library Director at Royal Oak, and I will let my esteemed colleagues introduce themselves.
Hi, Catherine Rebant Payne, Library Board Member.
Hi, I'm Emily Crosby, sorry, and I am a youth librarian.
So what we want, our goal tonight is to update the public on where we stand as the year draws to a close at the library. This has obviously been an extremely challenging year, and the biggest question that we are asked is when we're going to be reopening to the public. So I wanted to share what metrics we look at to determine when it would be safe to reopen. We use the MI Start Map, so it's just mistartmap.info. What we have determined is when we would advance to a reopening of a grab and go phase would be when the county reaches a B risk level. So it's a lettered system based on things like community spread and positive cases. And to put this in perspective, right now, the county and all of the state is unfortunately at a letter E. So it may be a while before we get to that point. Obviously, it's a direction nobody wants to be moving in. Our goal right now is just to be able to continue to safely offer our curbside services so that we are still providing some kind of in-person services to the public. That being said, while the circumstances are not ideal at the library, we strive to not see the closure as a halting or even a disruption of services, but rather an opportunity to explore new and different ways to serve the community. So I wanted to give some updates on some new things we've added to our services to better serve the community during challenging times. So first of all, we still offer traditional services like books for checkout and media for checkout, and you can get that now through our contactless pickup service. So contactless pickup works much like curbside pickup for a restaurant or retail, where you can go ahead and place your order, you could schedule a pickup time, and then we'll prepare the order and have that ready for you, and you can just walk right up and grab that when that's ready. If you prefer to read online or listen to audiobooks online, we have a very strong downloadable collection. So you can access ebooks and e-audiobooks through Overdrive and through the Libby app, through Hoopla, and through our newest service, Reading. And if you do prefer movies, you can stream movies on Canopy, and we've upped the limit. We doubled the amount of movies you can check out per month up to 10. Databases and learning resources are more important than ever. Because we feel it is part of our mission at the library to assist the schools and parents as the community is doing distance learning at the moment. We have added tutor.com, which is an excellent service that provides one-on-one tutoring with live tutors 24/7 in pretty much any subject you can think of for all age levels. They cover everything from kindergarten through college. They'll do AP testing prep. They will review essays, and they also help job seekers with interview skills and resume building. We recently added LinkedIn Learning for Libraries. Right now it's called Linda, but they're about to navigate over to the LinkedIn Learning for Libraries name. I'm so excited for this one because LinkedIn Learning on its own is about a $30 a month subscription. So LinkedIn Learning for Libraries is basically the same thing, and it's free to library card holders. We have Creative Bug, which is a collection of video tutorials for all things crafting and DIY, and it's led by experts in those fields. And finally, we are about to introduce Scholastic's Teachables and Scholastic Book Flicks. So this is something that's often used in classrooms, and I really hope is helpful for parents as they assist with the at-home learning. And this would also, I think, be a great resource for teachers to take advantage of too in the Royal Oak school system. Another thing we really buffed up this year was our newspapers online. So we now offer, through our library website, access to the New York Times online, Wall Street Journal, and the Daily Tribune. And also, we were able to finally get the Daily Tribune digitization project done. So we now have over 144 years of the paper available that you can access from the comfort of your own home. The thing I think I'm personally most excited for this year is we have introduced our Library of Things. And what this is a collection, like it sounds, of things to check out. So outside of traditional, just library books or DVDs, you can now check out things like board games, tools, baking pans, telescopes, cameras, video game systems. We are going to have such an extensive collection by the time this is all done, and I can't wait to be able to provide this service for the community. And you can check them out now for curbside pickup as well. And we also have Chromebooks and hotspots available for checkout, which has been really helpful during the closure when people don't have access to our computer lab. And all of these items can check out for 2 weeks at a time. And then finally, our programs was a real challenge to transition to an online format. It's always been a gem of our library is the strong lineup of programs. But the librarians have done such a fantastic job of making this move and shifting everything. And we now offer a full array of weekly story times, adult, youth, teen, and tween programs that include things like speakers, presenters, author talks, book groups, crafting programs, and you can even pick up the craft materials curbside, and magicians, musicians, animal programs, everything basically we offered before, we now offer online, which a lot of people actually prefer because they can, again, access it from the comfort of their home. And a lot of these are going to be recorded so you can view it at a later time if you couldn't make the original program date. Everything I've described, you have access to with your library card. You don't just have to be a Royal Oak resident to get a library card either. It is available for students at Royal Oak schools, teachers at Royal Oak schools, and any employee of a Royal Oak business. So I would urge everyone to please take advantage of all that is available for you. And then I also just wanted to share another bit of good news that's going to be discussed later on in the meeting is that the library is finally going to get to move ahead with phase 1 of our interior renovation. Initially, this was going to be a major renovation project. We're going to do everything at once, but in light of everything that's happened, we've decided to break it into different phases. But phase 1 is going to cover carpeting, flooring, painting, some of the new furniture, a rearrangement of the youth room, expansion of the teen room, and creation of the makerspace, so that when we get to a point where we are able to reopen to the public, they're going to have a new, fresh look for the Royal Oak Library. And now I'm going to turn it over to Emily, the other Emily, who is going to share some of her exciting news.
Thank you, Emily. So I wanted to thank everybody for having us here tonight. And I'm so excited to share with you, we received a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. And so we are going to be getting a grant for $10,000, which is a one-to-one share cost, which means that the library will also be providing $10,000 to match the grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. And we're going to be using staff time as well as a cash share for a total grant project of $20,000. We are going to be using this to get an arts-focused makerspace at the library. So we're going to have quite a few things, just like the Library of Things as well. We're going to have things like embroidery machines and sewing machine, heavy duty and serger, as well as video and podcast equipment, printmaking materials, art materials, knitting and crocheting kits, and photography materials, a Cricut and Cricut supplies, and computers and softwares for those materials as well. And So all of these things, or most of them anyways, are going to be able to be checked out and taken home. And some of them will be staying in library, like it's a record to MP3 conversion software. So that one has to stay in the library, unfortunately, but it's pretty awesome. I'm really excited for it. And then also the grant is starting on December 1st, so it's going to be coming really soon. And it's going to go all the way until December 31st of 2021. And so hopefully we can have everything out for the public to use by summer of 2021, just so we have some time to be able to get through and process and catalog everything and add anything we need to into our catalog. But we're going to hopefully host a grand opening, which is going to be either in person or virtual, depending on, of course, COVID cases and whether we're actually open. And it's going to be really exciting. I'm so excited for all of these things to be added to the library. Thank you.
So I think I'm up. In my capacity on the board, one of the things that I do is that I sit on the fundraising committee. And that's what I'm here to talk to you about tonight. Our year-end appeal and why financial support is so important to the library. Just because COVID cut the doors to the library closed to the public for their safety, clearly from everything that you heard tonight, it doesn't mean that nothing's going on. The staff has been working even harder throughout the pandemic to make sure that people have the resources they need. And, you know, you've heard about more access to newspapers, more access to resources that will help people who may be in need of a new job or in need of tutoring at this time. So it's really, I'm proud to be a board member and to know all the work that's been done to really adapt what the library is doing to what people need at this time. And a lot of what you've heard tonight wouldn't be possible without financial support of the library. All these things that support the community need support. So one thing I wanted to mention tonight is that in addition to everything you heard from Emily, one thing I would encourage people to do is to go and visit WROK and take a look at the Your Library at Home link. It shows the work too that the library is putting into curating resources that people really need and they're really helpful during the pandemic. A letter will be arriving in cardholders' homes soon, detailing some of what Emily spoke about tonight, and asking for financial support. And that letter and our year-end campaign is our main way of raising funds for the library during the year. So I'm asking tonight that as people consider their year-end giving or seek to support a charity on Giving Tuesday, if they will consider supporting the important work of the library and what it does for the community. Those who are interested in supporting the library can do so by sending a check in, or there is a link on the lower part of the website where people can make a secure PayPal donation. People's donations to the library really level the playing field. It makes materials that help us learn and grow, and materials that enhance our lives accessible to people from all backgrounds, all ages, all needs, and all abilities, even during a pandemic. So I hope that everyone will consider, even if it's a small donation, if that's what you have, supporting the Royal Oak Public Library at this year end.
All right. Any questions for the team? Commissioner Macy.
It's not really a question. I just want to congratulate Director Dumas and the board and all the staff at the library. Since Commissioner Cole and I joined the library board in the beginning of 2017, it feels like we've been running full speed ahead on the library. We did a strategic plan. We rethought the mission and vision, which is extremely painful to do. But as part of that, it was like looking forward into what libraries in the future will look like. And it's amazing to see that realized as we do this space renovation and we have the makerspace coming to life thanks to this grant. And we have this library of things and we have the seed library. It's just been our library is more than a library. It's not what you think of anymore. And I'm so proud to have it here in Royal Oak. And I'm very grateful to be part of this and to have this in our community. So thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Colo.
So I also want to say exactly what Melanie just said, or Commissioner Macy rather. I mean, this is absolutely amazing what's going on right now. I love everything that you're doing. The library board and the director and all the employees have just gone over the top to make sure that access has been available to people. Emily has been so focused. She has pushed so many programs through that we had talked about, maybe conceptualized, thought maybe this might be nice one day. And then she did all of them in about a month. I mean, it's just been amazing, the speed and the rate at which things have been added. And then these grants that have been, being sought out. I mean, back in April when we made the budget, it was a very bad crunch time. I mean, it was a fearful time for us, and we were just cutting stuff left and right because we didn't know what the world would look like, what income would look like for us. And we really challenged the staff to find a way to still do all these awesome programs, but we're going to give you, a lot less budget to do with. And, Emily's gone out, I think, $40,000 this year alone in different grants. So it's amazing the progress you're making. I cannot thank you enough on behalf of the people of Royal Oak because you're doing it for us. You're working for us every day. So thank you to Emily. Thank you, other Emily, Catherine, and the entire board. You guys are you're killing it, and I'm happy to support you. Also, I miss you all very much.
Anybody else? Yeah, I'll just add, certainly it's been really tough and challenging times these days. And it's easy, in some cases, almost permissible to give up. And I have to say, I mean, at least what our family has seen out of the library is not just a commitment to fulfilling, one's duty, both from the board all the way down through the staff. But what we've seen is an absolute commitment to work hard and do better and take care of the neighbors in our community as best we can, and not to give up and not to let our foot off the pedal. And you guys are just a shining point of pride in the community. And Emily, Catherine, I mean, what you do matters. And especially now, I think it matters more than you think. And just congratulations on, the achievements you helped express here tonight. And certainly, much appreciation on behalf of everyone who calls Royal Oak home. Thank you.
Thank
It's always
you so
good to
much.
get good news.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, have a great Thanksgiving.
You all too.
And, hopefully we get to be before you know it, and we can start to see. My kids are getting old, and they want to get to the youth library there, Emily. So we're patiently waiting, but we know what we have to do is first things first, safety first, and but we can't wait till we once again reunite.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, moving on to item number 8 tonight, which is a proclamation recognizing Downtown Royal Oak's 2020 Main Street America Community Accreditation. More good news here tonight. I think I saw Mr. Kammer. There he is. He was just a big bold print, and now he's a stunning face there shining in front of us. Okay, so now we can see him. All right, so Mr. Kammer, I'm gonna read the proclamation here. And if you're so willing, if you could give a few words after, we greatly appreciate it.
Certainly.
So this is a proclamation recognizing Downtown Royal Oak's 2020 Main Street America Accreditation. Whereas Main Street, Oakland County, is the only county-based Main Street program nationwide whose objective is to revitalize, strengthen, and preserve historic downtowns. Oops, my computer messed up a little bit. Whereas Main Street, Oakland County has continued to provide technical assistance, grant programs, and other important resources to the Royal Oak small business community, especially during this challenging national emergency. And whereas the city of Royal Oak joined the Main Street program in May of 2018 and employs the Main Street 4-point philosophy of economic vitality, design, organization, and promotion in its development programs. And whereas the Royal Oak Downtown Development Authority continues to engage with community stakeholders and engage volunteers in exercise of public policy. Now therefore be it resolved, I, Mayor Fournier, and the members of the Royal Oak City Commission hereby proudly announce and proclaim downtown Royal Oak has successfully completed its annual Main Street evaluation for the second year in a row and is once again accredited as an official Main Street America community. And I invite the entire Royal Oak community to join me in congratulating everyone involved in this endeavor. Such an accomplishment 2 years in a row. Mr. Kammer, the floor is yours, and thank you for your efforts in this.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening to members of the City Commission, Mr. Brake. Also, I want to acknowledge that Annika Norris, who is our Main Street liaison working with Main Street Oakland County, is also here tonight on the call. I just want to say very briefly that getting Royal Oak involved in the Main Street program was one of my first initiatives here as downtown manager, and we successfully joined the program in the spring of 2018. And since that time, I just want to say that Oakland County has been an outstanding partner during all of that, especially during this national emergency, in which the coordination between levels of government and public programs have been absolutely crucial to keeping our communities going. I want to say that their technical assistance program helped cover the costs for us to create the Rebound Royal Oak Grant website. So that funding was provided by Main Street Oakland County, as well as some additional part-time help that we had in terms of assisting with outreach to business owners, letting them know about this grant opportunity and other programs that we had running throughout the summer. And I just want to say I'm very thankful for all the support that they've given, and I look forward to many more years of partnership with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Annika. I mean, the partnerships in all fronts of our city continue to grow and prosper with Oakland County, and certainly have provided for our community and I think the county. And it's great to have another successful story of how, you know, working with the county has proved to be successful and provided results, especially during this time where we have hurting businesses and people with struggling employment. I'll open up the floor to questions. Sorry, Sean. Sorry, Annika. That's always the risk of joining. Anybody have any questions? All right, that's a good sign. It's a positive sign. Anything, Annika, that you want to contribute on behalf of Oakland County?
We just wanted to thank Sean and the DDA and all of their hard work. We enjoy the relationship that we have in working with them. And they do really good things and make the Main Street program look great in Oakland County. So thank you, Sean. It's a lot of hard work you put in.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And, you know, until we see each other again, hopefully, you know, with more good news. So thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to share this good news with us. Take care. All right, this brings us to item number 9, which is public comment. Ms. Schwanger?
Mayor Fournier, members of the City Commission, there were no public comments called in this evening.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Schwanger. All right, that brings us to item 10, which is the approval of the agenda. I'd just like to request that my colleagues consider adding, you know, a discussion on the recommendation given by Ms. Battersby in closed session, as well as a discussion item on Commissioner Levasseur resignation. Commissioner Douglas.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So yes, I would move to approve the agenda with the addition of a discussion of 44th District Court Case number 202286 and a discussion of the vacancy created by Mr. Levasseur's resignation.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Douglas. We have a second by Commissioner Peruch. Discussion on the agenda. Commissioner Dubuc.
Thank you, Mayor. I think just as a point of order, Commissioner Douglas, I think we can't just consider the vacancy. We actually have to accept the resignation formally before there is a vacancy. Is that accurate? So we'll have to have a vote on it.
I stand corrected. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubuc.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy,
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas,
Yes.
Commissioner Perush,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, we have an established agenda. All right, this brings us to the consent agenda, number 11. Does anyone wish to pull anything off the consent agenda to discuss further? Commissioner Colo.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull off, I just lost my agenda here. I'd like to pull off the item pertaining to the housing loan.
Aye.
Thank you. Aye.
Aye, there we go. Item I. Okay, anybody else? Commissioner Colo.
I'm sorry, I'd also like to pull off item B.
B as in boy?
B as in boy.
B as in boy. Okay. B and I. All right. Anybody else or anything else, Mr. Colo?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Just giving you a hard time. Wouldn't be a normal Monday night without giving you a hard time, Mr. Colo.
No, it wouldn't.
All right. So the consent agenda now consists of City Commission meeting minutes from October 26th and November 9th, 2020, claims from November 17th and November 20th, approval of purchase orders, declaration and approval of surplus property, declaration approval of surplus technology at former City Hall building, approval of amendment to the electronic remote meeting policy and procedures, contract modification to contract B 1102 Department of Public Services, Underground Environmental Consulting Services, and receive and file the non-action items. Oakland County, thank you voters. October 2020 Southeastern Oakland County Resource Recovery Authority quarterly report, and the October 2020 Southeastern Oakland County Water Authority quarterly report. Is there a motion? Motion by Commissioner Perush, second by Commissioner Douglas. Discussion. All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Perush.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, this brings us to item B, which is the confirmation of the mayoral appointments to the Planning Commission and Library Board of Trustees. Mr. Colo.
Yes. So I pulled this off because I want to make sure to mention all the people who are in this item tonight. It's kind of a big night when you're appointed to serve your city. First, I wanted to start. When I was appointed to the commission, I was one of 41 people who had applied for this position. And there was a challenge I was sent out to the remaining applicants to stay involved and make the city better. And here we have two of them who that they stood up and they have asked to serve. So I just want to congratulate both Monica Hunt and Eric McLeod, two Spartans, on their appointments tonight. And then also we have Catherine and Aaron are being reappointed to the library board. As we just heard before, the library is incredibly busy right now. So I just want to thank them for their continued work. And with that, I'd move approval of this.
A motion by Commissioner Colo. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Macy. Okay, discussion. Commissioner Macy.
Just that there are 2 more spots that will be open on the library board by the end of the year. So if anyone is interested in being on the library board, please get your application in.
Thank you, Commissioner Macy. Yeah, I'll just thank Commissioner Colo for bringing this off the consent agenda. Greatly appreciate that. Congratulations to the folks we're reappointing, and we have 2 newcomers to the Planning Commission and another newcomer to the Library Board. And I had an opportunity to have a conversation with each of these individuals prior to making the appointment. And I can tell you that they are going to make an amazing contribution both to the Planning Board and to the Library Board. I was just very, I walked away from those telephone conversations feeling eager and excited and inspired myself, which is hard to do when you're the one making the appointment. So I want to congratulate Ms. Hunt and Mr. McLeod for their willingness to step up and serve the community, and with their backgrounds and their energy, we as a community should look very forward to great things to come. So we're very grateful for their service. All right, I'm going to call for the vote. We'll start with the motion maker, Mr. Colo.
Yes.
Sorry, Commissioner Colo, my mistake. Commissioner Dubak,
Yes.
Commissioner Macy,
Yes.
Douglas,
Yes.
Commissioner Perush,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, item I from the consent agenda, Mr. Colo.
So item I was hoping we can have Mr. Train kind of explain this process a little bit more, and then I have a couple of questions to go along with it after he discusses it.
Mayor, Commissioners, I think the process here is recommended by our outside counsel. Many of you know we run a rehab loan program. All of those are low, moderate income eligible or eligible individuals to be accept those loans. We sign notes just like every other loan entity. When the property is sold or transferred, they're required to pay off the loan or note pursuant to those agreements. Some have deferred loans, others have where they're making payments along the way. So it's an individual case. In this case, the property was transferred to another individual through a quitclaim deed. The county notified staff of the transfer. Our council has been trying to contact the parties to get to a resolution with no response from those individuals. So the next step is recommended by outside counsel is to file this suit in the effort of trying to remedy what's owed on the loan. And that could be anything from forbearance agreement to continue payments to some other action. But this is the first step to authorize outside counsel to file suit to hold the city's position on recouping those funds, which, as you can see in the commission letter, is a little over $11,000. That's all I have.
Any other questions for Mr. Twing, Mr. Colo, anything else? We have Commissioner Douglas.
So to understand further, so the homeowner who took out the loan and had not yet repaid it turned over the property, essentially issued a quit claim deed, not a sale, to another individual, Mr. Twing?
That's correct. That's the information I have.
So a potential recourse for the person who now holds title to the property would be to go back to the person who quit claimed it to them to make them whole, so that they would still have the opportunity to find a recourse to pay those taxes or to pay that fee and avoid the foreclosure.
Yeah, and there's a lot of steps in between there and foreclosure or sheriff's sale, if you want to title it that way, in terms of getting to an agreement. But it's my understanding from the legal process, this is necessary in order for the city to hold its position on those funds. If we do nothing, we're going to write them off.
I'm going to go Commissioner Perush and then back to Commissioner Colo.
This is a question either for you, Tim, or for Ann McLaughlin. Does this process going forward follow the state foreclosure statutory rules, or does it follow a different foreclosure procedure because these are federal funds?
I don't believe there's any different steps because it's federal funds. I believe it's the same.
Okay, so just because.
But I'm not an attorney, so I don't want to give that legal advice. But I don't believe there's anything different because of its being federal money.
My gut, and I don't do this kind of law, but my gut feeling was that it would follow the state procedures because it's a lien like just about any other kind of lien that would attach. But sometimes federal law throws in weird, things that you have to go through and sets up its own system. So I was just curious as to whether it would follow the regulatory state system, which it sounds like it does. that was my only question.
Yeah, from my understanding, it's being filed in the same courts. It's not being filed any differently than any other lien.
Go with, you know what, Commissioner Macy hasn't spoken yet, so we'll go with Commissioner Macy and then back to Commissioner Colo.
I'm just wondering if there's any rush on this. I mean, we're in the middle of this pandemic where there's an eviction moratorium in the state, and taking this sort of action right now feels slightly unnecessary. And I'm wondering if there's a reason we have to do it at this moment, or if we can wait without further penalty other than the claim growing staler.
Again, I don't know the actual filing dates. A lot of times there are time periods to take an action in order to preserve your rights under those actions. I don't know whether there's a limitation here, but it's already been a period of time. And again, the purpose of this action isn't necessarily to foreclose, as we said in the memo. We don't want to take ownership. We don't want to do anything like that. We want to preserve the right to recoup these funds, and that will take a period of time. I don't know the situation with the individuals, but
Yeah, just following up a little bit, like that's what I got from you, is that we don't really want to do this. We're just trying to give the next little nudge. And I'm wondering if, I think that's appropriate to give a little nudge. I'm just wondering if this is the right moment for it, or if there's another nudge we can give before we go to this step. And maybe Ms. McLaughlin is the right person to answer that in timing. I don't want to put you on the spot. I know this may not be what you were prepared for tonight.
Ms. McLaughlin, I know you have your speaker unmute, but I don't know if there's an issue with your headset. Maybe that has to be unmuted too. No. We're not good at reading lips, but if you want to try interpretive dance. No. We'll give you a minute here. Sorry.
well,
No.
if Ann can't get on it, I mean, if the commission is hesitant in this regard, perhaps I can simply, and with Ann's assistance, maybe you can get into a closed session at your next meeting, and I can have Steve Dunn, who does all of these activities for the Block Grant Rehab Program, come and explain it to the commission. As I've said to Commissioner Colo previously, I am concerned from a privacy standpoint, saying too much about loans with individuals, because we do have those privacy issues at the federal level on it. And if the commission has a lot of questions about the process and what's the best steps, I'd rather have him explain that to you. And we can see if he's available and maybe schedule this for a closed session at your next commission meeting. I don't believe waiting 2 weeks is a problem, but I can certainly do that if you have a lot of questions.
I think that would be appreciated. I mean, the whole purpose behind this program is to help people. And, you know, and sometimes things don't work out so perfectly, and sometimes things happen for a whole myriad of reasons. And, you know, we always want to stick to our mission of helping people. And if there's alternatives, or we need to have the program explained to us in a little bit more detail before making a hasty decision, and we do have a little bit of time, I think that would be prudent. And certainly, you know, we don't want to impair the city's position that would compromise us acquiring federal funds for, you know, dozens or hundreds of other people in the future, because we take the wrong misstep as well, as far as ensuring that we collect on debts the right way. So, you know, the spirit of the program is to help people. I think Commissioner Macy made a very good point during these challenging times. I think we can, you know, if there's no rush, you know, from a legal or I mean, the city's not going to, you know, be hindered significantly in the next couple of weeks over $11,000. So, you know, maybe we can get a little bit more info and talk about it in closed session, especially with some of the privacy issues concerning, the origination of the mortgage, et cetera. So, Commissioner Colo.
Mr. Tran, can I just ask that he prepare a report ahead of time so that we can have a little bit of time to dissect it before the closed session?
We can get you the kind of an outline of it. What I cannot give you is individual names. I cannot share addresses, names, things like that. But I can have Steve Dunn from Howard and Howard kind of outline the process for you.
And I think typically Commissioner Colo will get from, an attorney-client privileged information that will be prudent or will be appropriate. And we'll get that days ahead of time, I imagine, so we can take a look and ask questions, I presume. Ms. McLaughlin, you want to do a sound check real quick?
Can you hear me?
It's too loud. No, perfect.
Good.
Great. We can hear you now.
I don't know what happened. Maybe it was my headphones, my earbuds.
Perfect. So without your advice, we just kind of dictated a bunch of work, if that's okay with you. Commissioner Colo.
Doesn't that always happen when the person is gone?
That's right. You assign them all the tasks. Mr. Colo.
Do we have to move to table this for now, or can it just, without a motion, not be picked up? What's the procedure on that?
I'll leave that to Mr. Twing and Ms. McLaughlin to advise us what they feel is the best step moving forward, given what we've indicated.
I think if you make a motion to postpone it to your next meeting, which is December, I don't know the date, I don't have it in front of me, December 7th? No.
I believe it's the 14th.
14th? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's the second Tuesday.
For a closed session, and that's where Ann would have to, I believe, write the attorney-client memo to get us into closed session.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So if anyone wants to make that motion.
So moved.
Commissioner Colo, you make the motion?
Sorry, yes. I make the motion.
A second by Commissioner Macy. She's had either her screen's frozen or she's had her hand there for a while. Okay. All right. Discussion on the motion. We'll go with Commissioner Perush, and then I think, Commissioner Macy is moving her hand, so she isn't frozen. Okay, we'll do Commissioner Perush and Commissioner Macy.
Well, I just want to make sure that everyone has seen the note that Melanie Hallis has told us that our next meeting is in fact December 7th, not the 14th.
What is the 7th? Okay.
It's weird in December because of the holidays. We wanted to have 2 meetings in.
Commissioner Macy?
That's what I was trying to say too.
Everybody, well, okay, the motion stands the next meeting. So if everyone's good with that. Okay, any other discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Perush?
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas?
Yes.
Commissioner Macy?
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak?
Yes.
Commissioner Colo?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, we'll see this next week. Hopefully have a little bit more information and maybe a few ideas how to, make the situation a little better for all involved. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, this brings us to item 12, which is the approval of special event permit, Royal Oak Jewish Center drive-in menorah lighting. And I see the chief somewhere in here. We got a lot of folks tonight.
Yep, I'm here, Mayor. Mayor, City Commission, we received a request from the Royal Oak Jewish Center for authorization to hold a menorah lighting event in downtown Royal Oak, specifically in the P3, P7, and P8 lots. This event will take place on Sunday, December 13th, between the hours of 4:30 and 6 p.m. The proposed drive-in event will be a 90-minute celebration of the Hanukkah holiday. The event includes a series of short videos, live entertainment, a virtual game show, a lighting of a menorah, and a closing ceremony, which I'm told is a laser light robot. I'm not sure what that means, but the event coordinator is also requesting a placement of a 12-foot tall menorah with lights in the downtown area from Wednesday, December 9th to Thursday, December 24th. We have been going back and forth trying to find the best location. We ultimately decided to put it in the same location it was last year on 5th Street, just west of Washington. The applicants also want to put a second menorah somewhere in the area, 13 Mile Woodward. They are trying to work something out with Woodward Corners, but if that doesn't work out, they're requesting to put something in Memorial Park. Because they don't have all the details, I would just kind of maybe use that as maybe a park rental and let John Fideli handle that aspect if they need to use the park. We have had discussions with the details with Mushki Glittenstein from the Royal Oak Jewish Center. The specific details of the event are listed below. Because it's Sunday, we won't be charging for parking, and we don't expect any cost to the city. And there's a resolution prepared for your approval.
All right. Any questions for the chief? All right. I see Moshe and Mushki here. Welcome. Do you guys want to add
Hi. It's so fun to see everybody.
Yeah, I like your ear.
Yeah. We're into all the new hairdos.
Yeah, my hair is a little long. I got party in the front and party in the back. It's
it's actually nice.
It's great.
So anything you guys want to add about the event or the chief?
No,
First, we want to invite you, and it's all gonna be sign up this year because it's drive-in, and we also want to ask the people that they have to stay in their cars and to keep it safe. So we're gonna reach out to every person that come to the event, and we're gonna make sure that it's all gonna be safe and nice.
Yeah, we're super excited for this because, everything's been virtual and deliveries and stuff like this. And we think that, it's the closest we could get to having some kind of communal feeling. And I think there'll be a really great energy there just by everyone being in their cars. All the audio will be through the radio and stuff.
Oh, amazing.
So it'll be all hooked up like that. And yeah, we're excited. We have a game planned where you have to flash your lights to answer or put your windshield on. So we're making do.
Yeah, I mean, we got creativity, everywhere, and everyone is, we have some challenging times, but again, not giving up.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
And this is when we need things like this the most.
That's right.
Yeah, till now it was you just took these things for granted. Now it's really needed.
And by the way, we want actually to thank the police chief. He helped us a lot with that.
Yes, they worked with us they worked so hard on this, so we're so thankful.
Yes, and also the downtown, they actually sponsor some part of this event this year, first time. So it's gonna be kind of a city event, I guess, and I'm sure people will be excited about it.
Great. Thank you. Oh, we have a question, Commissioner Macy.
Yeah, I heard you say sign up. What's the capacity limit?
It's okay. So we have in the P7 parking lot where there's room for about 100 or so cars, and then in the other two parking lots is kind of one of the second parking lot we think we're for sure going to use, which is probably another 50 cars, and then the third parking lot we reserved for overflow.
Okay.
I guess there is also a place in the street on 7th Street, to park on the street. So I guess there is at least space for 200. If it's really full, we'll see how many people will sign up, and some people come in a surprise last minute, so then we'll see how much we actually need. But if there is people who come after everything is full, there's no space. There's nothing to do.
Okay, that sounds like maybe plenty. My family went last year to the Fire and Ice. It was awesome.
Come again?
Well, so that's what I'm wondering. We would come again, but we aren't in fact Jewish, and I don't want to take a spot if we're going to be filling it up.
No,
You guys
it's for
all,
everyone.
you guys
It's for
all better
everyone.
be there.
It's not only for Jewish people. The message of menorah is the message of light and positivity, and especially
everybody.
now, it's for everyone, not only for Jewish people.
Okay, well then we're going to come. We love
Yeah,
games.
you guys, we're expecting everybody.
All right, I might be a little nervous to do some of the quizzes against Commissioner Dubuck. He's a pretty smart guy, a lot of knowledge. So I'll have to check to see what time he's coming and the excuse that my lights aren't working. Commissioner Polo.
Yeah, we have to tell everyone to get their car maintenance before they come.
That's right.
We'll have the chief standing at the front, making sure everyone's got their cars, giving out tickets. We'll see.
So two things really quick. I need the answers to the trivia questions so I could beat Commissioner Dubuck beforehand.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. So, first off,
we might be able to make some kind of arrangement.
Perfect. So thank you. You emailed all of us beforehand with such great, you answered everyone's questions ahead of time. You really did a great job selling this event, but I don't think it needed much selling anyways. I mean, it's great. It adds to the quality of life here in Royal Oak. Yeah, it's an excellent event. I know last year my son was 4 at the time. He drove by the menorah and he asked me what it was. So it really opened up a new conversation, right? And that's great. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, good. Thank you. Good to hear that feedback.
Commissioner Perush?
I don't have any questions. I just am so excited about this. Last year's program that I was honored to be a part of to help light that menorah was just an extraordinarily exciting, moving, wonderful celebration. And
Maishi and I keep talking about how thankful we are for your speech, because if we come up and speak, it looks preachy, but when you come up and you say everything that we really wanted to say but didn't put the time in to talk, it was really great. You had such a great, meaningful speech.
Well, thank you. It really was an honor to be there. And unfortunately, because of the situation, you're not going to be able to duplicate everything. Like the fire department and the ladder truck are not going to be able to go up really high and drop the gold coins.
No. This year, every person will get these chocolate coins
in the
box or something.
Oh, in the little boxes. Oh, that's a good idea. So it'll be different, but I know it will be fantastic. Last year it was fantastic, and I'm sure this year will be fantastic too.
Good.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I know last year I was out of town.
We remember that.
Yeah, don't worry. We still remember.
I don't see that happening this year.
We're going to make you make up for it.
Yeah, this year you have to start to prepare your speech.
Yeah.
Double time, double good. You got it. All right. Anybody else? Anybody want to make a motion? Oh, Commissioner Perush. Oh, Commissioner.
Sorry. I'll move approval of this resolution authorizing this event.
Second by Commissioner Dubuck. Any discussion? I know we've had a lot. I'll just say awesome. Thank you. We look forward to it and appreciate everything you do for the city of Royal Oak, you guys. I mean, you're always here in so many regards, and thank you for what you did on Veterans Day too. Really grateful for everything. So
of course.
Excited to call for this vote. We'll start with Commissioner Colo.
Very excited. Yes.
Commissioner Dubuck.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Perush.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Unanimous.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. See you then.
You might see the flyer published at midnight tonight. We'll see.
All ready to go. Print.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for everything you do for the city.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Enjoy your night.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. That brings us to item 13, which is the Michigan Liquor Control Commission License Establishment, Mesa, South Main Street, request to amend plan of operation. Chief, this is you again, sir.
Yes, Mayor, City Commission, we received a request from Trace EHA Incorporated to transfer ownership of a Class C liquor license, SDM license, from MLS Hospitality, currently operating as Mesa, located at 312 South Main Street. The applicants are also requesting Sunday sales permit, entertainment permit, outdoor service area permit. The applicants will continue to operate Mesa in the same location. Trace EHA is incorporated, is owned by Ron Ritz and Nicholas Ritz. They're both 50% owners. The applicants will purchase the Mesa name, liquor license, furniture, fixtures, equipment from MLS Hospitality for $300,000. The applicants will lease the building from Camden Alter for $5,504 a month, and funding for that will come from the business sales. Ron and Nicholas, of course, are the owners of Tom's Oyster Bar and Ale Mary's. They also own Terry's Terrace in Harrison Township. And they've been in the restaurant and bar industry since 2004. A review of the establishments found only one minor MLCC violation. Since being in Royal Oak, we've had absolutely no issues with Tom's Oyster Bar or Ale Mary's. We like always, we do our due diligence. We did contact Macomb County Sheriff, and they've had no issue with the establishment in Harrison Township. And we've contacted MLCC, and they haven't had any concerns with this application. If approved, Mesa will continue to operate as a casual Mexican restaurant. Hours of operation will remain the same. The applicants are requesting to open earlier for special events with prior approval. Again, the menu will remain the same, and they anticipate a food to alcohol ratio to be about 65% food, 35% alcohol. Only minor change is a slight change to the interior seating, which will increase the interior seating to 154 patrons from 144. Ultimately, the final capacity will be set by the police department after recommendations from both the building and fire departments. The applicants will offer piped can music through the establishment, in addition to an occasional live band or DJ. They are requesting an entertainment permit for occasional live musician, comedian, or mariachi band. The applicants have agreed to sign the entertainment permit. The applicants are not requesting a dance permit. The applicants will be involved in the day-to-day operation of the establishment and have hired Marvin Morris as a general manager who has over 20 years experience in the restaurant industry. Both Ron and Nicholas have operated in Royal Oak since 2011, and our findings indicate that they meet the requirements, and we are not opposed to this request.
All right, any questions for the chief? All right, I see Mr. Ritz and Mr. Ritz. How are you guys doing this evening?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. You want to tell us a little bit more about what you got shaken and, or anything to add to what the chief had to say?
We love Royal Oak. Being there since 2011, it's just been a really easy town to operate in, and the community support, especially this year, is just overwhelming for not just our businesses, but the whole downtown. We've just seen everybody come together, and we're very thankful to be a part of it.
Very good. Well, we know you do an amazing job, too, with Ale Mary's and Tom's Oyster Bar, just icons in the city, and, very well run, and just excellent food product that you got and service coming out of those facilities. And certainly, excited to see what you'll do with Mesa. Any questions for the petitioners from any of the commissioners? Commissioner Dubon.
Just curious, are you anticipating any substantial menu changes or relatively the same?
We love Mesa. We're gonna market it a little bit. We'll probably expand a little bit on their vegan items over time. That's kind of our shtick next year or at Ale Mary's. And other than that, we like it as it is. We think it has a ton of potential.
You're still feeling bullish on the city once we get past this.
Summer. I think it's going to be the best summer ever in Royal Oak. That's my prediction.
I love that prediction.
Commissioner Colo.
Are you going to help make it the best winter ever in Royal Oak with some outdoor seating?
We've been trying. It's very tricky on Main Street.
How can we help you? What do you need to make it better? You're talking to the right people right now. We can actually help you do this.
I think, well, I appreciate the help, and all along the city has been just right there to respond to emails and everything during this, and I really appreciate that. I think being on Main Street and the amount of carryout business we're doing, thank you, by the way, everybody, the whole town, thank you for all the carryout business. I think if we put seating in our parking spots, it might take away from the carryout business, so we might just roll with carryout and delivery for however long this takes. But I appreciate the offer.
Right. Well, you know, I'm excited for you. I said this last week for another applicant. I'll say it this week. You guys are betting on Royal Oak, right? Like, this is great. In a pandemic, you're reinvesting. So thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Any other questions? All right. We have a resolution in front of us. Commissioner Dubuck.
I will move for approval.
Motion by Commissioner Dubuck, second by Commissioner Colo. Discussion. Commissioner Dubuck.
I just once again really happy to see two proven operators who have two kind of marquee establishments in the city that I certainly love, and we've been doing takeout from Mesa, so I'm glad to hear it's not going to be radically changed because we've really been enjoying everything that we've been getting. But you know, wish you the best of luck and pleased to support you in this endeavor.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, just you know, especially during all these challenging times, it's good to see that, you know, there is some, you know, silver linings here of success, and that, you know, the future is bright for Royal Oak. And, you know, we're not going to hold you to it, Nick, but we also hope that we have the very best summer ever in Royal Oak. We're working towards it. Towards it. Thank you for everything you guys do to help us get there, and whatever we can do to help you out, and anybody in the hospitality or retail industry downtown or throughout the city. You know, our emails are always open. Our phones are always open. We're here to help. That's why we got into service. So excited to see what you're going to do here. All right. I'm going to call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubuck.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. Congratulations. Oh, Commissioner Perush, I missed you up there. You moved. It's like, you know, mobile Brady Bunch here. Commissioner Perush, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now we do it. Now we're good. I think we've covered everyone. Let me scan one more time after the movement. Okay, good. Well, congratulations. The resolution is passed, and you know, we look forward to a bright future there along Main Street, you know, the trifecta, so to speak. So thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
All right, take care. All right, now I got Commissioner Perush moved on me. You're up in the top right corner on my screen now.
Well, you've all moved, so as people come and go, they go in and out. We get reordered.
It's messing with me late at night. Right. So this brings us to item 14, which is the Library Board of Trustees recommendation, library remodel and improvement project. We've already got foreshadowing of this by Director Dumas. So Director Dumas, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. On November 17th, the bidding opened up for the first phase of the renovation project, which I described earlier, which would include flooring, carpeting, painting, furniture, and then some remodeling of the building. We ended up receiving 2 bid packages, and we got one from Cross Construction Group that totaled $873,400. And then another from Library Design Associates for $479,775. The resolution that has been prepared asks the City Commission to approve the recommendation of the Royal Oak Library Board of Trustees to award the bid for the library remodel and improvement project to Library Design Associates.
Okay. Questions? Commissioner Perush.
I don't have any problem with the recommendation at all, but do you have any idea why there was such a big disparity between the 2 bidders? That's a huge amount.
The work is very specialized. doing this kind of a remodeling project for a library, especially because the idea is to keep the books on the shelves when moving them, which is, I guess, I didn't know this beforehand, but it's not something many construction companies are able to do. We also required 5 recommendations from libraries that they have worked on in the past. So I think that kind of narrowed down the playing field for a lot of groups that may have bid. And then because the work was so specialized, I think it may have been hard to find subcontractors who could perform the work. So from what I understand, then a lot of times general contractors will just throw out numbers. They'll kind of just do their best job estimating. And then from there, that's why sometimes you'll just see kind of a wild difference in the numbers and some very high numbers.
That makes sense. That really does make sense. Thanks.
Commissioner Colo.
And Commissioner Perush, if I could just add on to what Dr. Dumas just said too, Library Design Associates actually, they buy and sell equipment for libraries. So they are a distributor of some of the pieces that are being purchased. So whereas another vendor might have a markup on them, LDA is able to directly provide them. So they were chosen. I formerly was on the facilities committee at the library, and when we started this process, they were chosen because they were a recognized leader in designing libraries and getting the equipment that we needed. So that's one of the biggest iterations when this was a baby space study 2 years ago. I think we started engaging LDA. So that's why we started with LDA, knowing that they were people who could get us to this point. So with that, I am sad I was not able to make this vote last week when the library approved it, but I am going to vote to approve this tonight.
All right. We have motion by Commissioner Colo. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Macy. All right. Further discussion? Commissioner Colo.
So, Dr. Dumas, you talked about a phase approach. Can you tell us about phase 2 and when that might be on the horizon also?
Yes. So in phase 1, what we wanted to do is try to take care of things that would have been disruptive had the library been open. So get those done as quickly as possible, kind of take advantage of the library being closed. So that included things like the flooring and the moving of shelves. The plan was to never have to close for too long, even if we were in normal times, but it still would have required some kind of closure. So that's some good news about where we're at right now, is that we can hopefully do this with probably no disruption to our current services. Phase 2 would then be the extras that we didn't get to in this phase. So things like a lot of kind of cosmetic things. We're still missing a lot of the furnitures and the removal of some of the shelving to add in seating areas. And also the big one is the laptop bar in the media area. In fact, our whole media area, which is going to become a very nice seating space someday, we're kind of waiting on that just to see too how things pan out and how we kind of look at things differently following all this. What are we going to look like when we do reopen? Would we want to have people crammed together at a laptop bar right away? Or is that something we kind of want to wait on? So I would say that, we're getting this first phase done. We're looking to not put this on hold too long, but then to just meet and see where we're at and kind of what we think would be wise to move forward with in the next phase, considering what would be safe to do and what would be reasonable to move ahead with. But I would say the majority of the project is getting done in this first phase.
That's awesome. Well, kudos to you and the board. You guys also sought public input. I think there's 3 public input sessions. We had online, we had 3D tours. I mean, you guys went above and beyond to make sure that you're designing a library for the entire city. So thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Perush?
I haven't heard anyone discuss the library auditorium. Is that going to get upgraded as well? It looks pretty tired right now. Is its purpose going to change? Is it still going to stay an auditorium? And is it going to get any upgrades if it is?
Yes, that will get new carpeting and paint too. And then we're looking into different lighting solutions too. You know, that's another thing, thinking of it, that is definitely going to be something that needs to happen sooner rather than later, is lighting upgrades to the library. We do get a lot of comments, not just from the public, but from staff, about the lack of adequate lighting. So we're going to be improving the lighting in there. And hopefully my goal too eventually is to try to work on improving the ventilation in the auditorium as well, because it gets very warm in there in the summer. But immediately they will get some kind of a facelift as far as a freshening up that's needed. But the purposes of it, right now, it's definitely got a different purpose. It's our staging area for the curbside pickup, but the plan is to still keep it as an auditorium when we're able to return to in-person services.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else? All right. I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Perush.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
A very excited yes.
And I vote yes. All right. Thank you, Director Dumas. Thank you for
Thank
hanging
you.
out with us tonight. Appreciate all the explanation too. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. All right, this brings us to item 15, which is the Planning Commission recommendation for rezoning of 1600 Stevenson Highway, second reading.
Mayor, Commissioners, you did see this on first reading at your November 9th meeting. It's my understanding it's not part of the consent agenda because it was not a unanimous vote. I really don't have any other presentation. It is a request, again, to rezone that property from neighborhood business to general business, and the Planning Commission did recommend approval, and the City Commission did vote on first reading to approve it at November 9th. And there is a resolution there if you wanted to proceed.
Questions for Mr. Twing? Familiar with this procedure? Okay. All right. Anybody want to make a motion, or okay, Commissioner Perush?
I'll move approval of this on second reading.
Motion by Commissioner Perush. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Macy. All right, discussion on the motion. Commissioner Douglas.
Yes, as last time, I will be voting against this motion. While the area in question might indeed be suitable for rezoning to general business, I don't think it's appropriate to single out a single lone property on this site to rezone it without considering the area as a whole. And I remain concerned that this decision may open us up to other requests from businesses or land that is zoned neighborhood business wanting to be zoned up to general business in order to become eligible for marijuana related businesses.
Anybody else? Commissioner Colo.
I voted no on this last time. I'm going to vote yes tonight. I looked at the land use map and read the ordinance and listened to the Planning Commission again. And what changed my mind was looking at what general business is and what neighborhood business is. You see general business on Woodward Avenue, and then you see it north by the Meyer properties. And this property feels like that Meyer property area, feels like something that belongs on Woodward. So while I'm amenable to changing this one and the surrounding, I think there's 9 plots right there, I changed any of those to general business. Looking at the rest of our businesses in town, they are all neighborhood businesses, pretty much for the zoning. And I'm not comfortable changing the rest of those because they don't really fall in line. But I think it passed. I don't like changing just one, but I think in this one set of land, this one plot of land is the only place in the city I'm willing to piecemeal them if we have to. And but I would not be willing to. I would not be as amenable to this nearly anywhere else in the city. But I'll vote yes on this one tonight.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, then I'll call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubak.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
No.
Commissioner Perush.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, motion passes on second reading. And I guess that will go into effect in a number of days here. So I see the petitioners are on. Unless you want to say anything, congratulations and, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
You are welcome. This brings us to item 16, which is Planning Commission recommendation on zoning ordinance amendment to modify tree replacement fees. First reading, Mr. Twing.
Yes, you do. You have a recommendation from the Planning Commission. It does involve the existing landscape tree provisions of the ordinance, primarily in two fashions. The current wording called for when a development that went through site plan approval removed a tree, they'd have to replace it 2 for 1. It also had a provision that dealt with paying a fee in lieu of replacing those trees. That provision, as it currently stands, required the city commission to enter into a separate agreement, kind of a license or development agreement. And looking at this provision over the last few projects that this may have applied to, it was felt that that step wasn't necessary. It seemed onerous to require the drafting of a license agreement or development agreement on a project that was simply dealing with either replacing trees or paying a fee in lieu of trees. So the wording was suggested to be revised simply that as part of the site plan approval, that would automatically occur as part of the Planning Commission's actions based on a fee schedule that's to be established by the City Commission. So you would, as a City Commission, would adopt a resolution establishing the fee schedule. From staff standpoint, we're thinking at least initially using the fee schedule that the Department of Public Service uses for their cost on their trees, or what we found when we were planting trees through the block grant program. But we would bring that to you as part of the second reading on this ordinance if you concurred with the Planning Commission to replace the requirement for the drafting of a development agreement or license agreement for a party and simply replaced it there. The second part had to deal with the fact the way the ordinance was written. The Planning Commission's discretion was to either require the trees to be replaced 2 for 1, or they could do the payment in lieu. And we wanted to make sure it was clear that both actions could occur at the same time, meaning the petitioner may replace a certain number of them and then could pay a fee in lieu of some of those that they may not be replaced at quite 2 for 1, so that both actions could occur as part of one project. I believe that's the gist of the amendments. Commissioner Douglas and Mayor Fournier do sit on the Planning Commission. I believe I've attempted at least to summarize where the Planning Commission was heading in this recommendation. But if you have questions, I'll be happy to address them.
Any questions for Mr. Twing or for Commissioner Douglas or myself? Commissioner Dubak.
So I guess in theory, I don't have any serious issues with these changes. I'm curious about if in practice, is this ordinance being enforced as intended? I know that we gave the out of the Planning Commission upon deciding that that the trees absolutely had to be removed. It was not feasible to plant something around them. Then there was the outlet that they could pay this fee. But really the intent of the ordinance is to put the tree protection first and not just present it as an either or. Is that how this is playing out, or is it being presented as you have these two options, you can do whichever one is easiest for you?
I'll let Commissioner Douglas take a stab at that.
Yeah, the planning commission, the people on the planning commission are very passionate about maintaining trees in the process of these developments. And we've been really hamstrung, trying to force developers to jam trees onto sites where there just clearly wasn't space for it. And the planning commission didn't have an option. That is, the path had not been open for us to require or place trees elsewhere in the city. And the ordinance as it was written made that process clumsy. And I just want to thank Mr. Twing and the staff for, I think, coming up with a much simpler solution where I assure you that the Planning Commission is going to be looking hard and fast at places to keep trees on the properties that are developed. But bearing in mind, the City Commission's goal was to replace trees on a 2-to-1 basis. This enables us to do this. It puts money into an account that our Public Works Department can use to place trees elsewhere in the city. I think it's a definite win.
Okay, that's helpful. And then as far as the fee schedules, that would be determined by the commission. And so we could feasibly have that schedule the fee go up based on how well established the tree is that they want to remove.
I assume so. We haven't seen any design of what that fee schedule would look like, but I suspect that staff hears you when you say that.
Yes, that's correct. I think the Planning Commission has had the ability to look at a site plan. Several of the site plans come in where they're not removing trees because we're very built out urban, but where we've had trees being removed, they've looked at those that are substantial trees in terms of diameter and things. And they have the ability to prohibit them from being removed under the site plan approval process. And or incorporating other revisions in it. In terms of the fee schedule, I think the cost of a new tree will be similar across the board. We can obviously look at how wording might be as if you're removing a substantial tree and it's 2 for 1. We can look at how that might play into the fee schedule. I don't have a answer for you right now as to how we would make that more expensive if we're allowing him to replace with similar sized trees, but we'll look at it, definitely.
I just want to make sure that we're getting at where this is supposed to create a really strong incentive for them to do everything within their power to keep the trees and not just be a fee that, throwaway fee, just to kind of work around our intent. And just to remind you, this was born out of when the Kroger development came in, and just none of us had really thought hard about the trees at 12 Mile and Stevenson. And when they came down, they just took everyone's breath away. And I firmly believe that development could have been exactly what it is and exactly as successful as it is with those huge pines on that corner.
Yeah.
And that's why we did this. I just want to make sure we're not losing sight of that in any of these changes. The changes on their face seem fine as long as we're pursuing the intent of the ordinance.
Yeah, Commissioner DeBuck, the default of the Planning Commission is always to keep the trees, especially mature trees. We do look at it. Sometimes there may be a safety element. Sometimes there's a tree that's an issue. Occasionally there's a species where Commissioner Douglas is like, is that a Bradford pear? Kill it, get rid of it, set it on fire. Replace it with something native that, is nice. And so those conversations happen at a species level and at a tree level. And so I think this is also helping us, put a few more arrows in the quiver to get everything moving in the right direction. Clearly, the default position isn't this or that, it's save the trees. And in those cases where the Planning Commission agrees with the petitioner that it might not make full sense to save a particular tree, that there's another option that first establishes that we get a guarantee of 2 trees. And to the extent in the fee schedule based on maturity, if staff can come up with something to disincentivize, that financial equation a little bit more, to do everything and just to keep those trees. Yeah. But I mean, we got, as far as site plans, we got a tree plan when we see our site plans, and it's a topic of discussion. And I think, we're that will be for the long term as well. I mean, it's becoming part of our culture and DNA in the Planning Commission. Commissioner Kolo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this has been a really enlightening conversation, especially from the members of the Planning Commission. So thank you. If we enact this tonight, it will go through first reading and a second reading. When will we see a fee schedule? Because this will start impacting plans, I presume, at the January meeting of the Planning Commission, correct?
Procedurally, I hope to have the fee schedule ready for you as part of the second reading. You would most likely adopt the second reading of this ordinance, and then you'd follow up with a resolution adopting the fee schedule behind that. The ordinance would take effect 10 days after whichever meeting it's on. So I probably won't put this back in front of the commission on second reading until I'm sure we've got the fee schedule ready, which hopefully should be one of the meetings in December.
Okay. And I'll add to Commissioner DeBuck's conversation. I'm very interested in also seeing, as it's a larger diameter tree, a heavier replacement cost for that tree, maybe to discourage taking out these well-established trees, right? The more expensive it is to replace that tree, the less inclined you're going to be to remove it. So I would, I'd tip my hat towards that as you're making that fee schedule. And then also, so as the program stands right now, can you just, as it is today and how it's operating, how often is it that a developer pays into a pot to replace trees? I mean, how's that program going? That and how are we currently replacing trees?
Well, and the Commissioner Douglas and Mayor Fournier can jump in too, but as of today, we have not had anyone that's had to pay into a fee. The Planning Commission has either approved the landscape plan as it was submitted, or the petitioners have provided the 2-to-1 replacement.
So in those, so in the landscape plans, have they've all either kept the trees or they've replaced them 2-to-1? We've not lost any trees, or?
No, we haven't had any paid into it. I think there was only one project that came close to needing to do that, and I believe the Planning Commission approved it as submitted.
Okay, but they're not approving, and I don't know if anyone looks closely enough at. I don't look closely enough at that. We're not approving plans that don't consider this, right? Like everyone is definitely considering the net trees on each site plan.
Yes, the project, and there are site plans that obviously don't have trees on their site. It's occupied by a current building or painting. So there are ones that come through that are removing no trees because there's none on the site. Those that are removing trees are required to submit as part of their survey a tree plan that identifies the number and type and location and the dimensions of the trees. And then it identifies which ones are being removed. So that information's in front of the Planning Commission. And then they submit a proposed landscape plan. And that again identifies the species and size and quantity of trees and the placement of those trees. So to date, we have not had anyone that's tried to pay into this because, and again, the commission would know this because under that scenario, we would have had to bring a development/license agreement to the city commission to establish the fee and approve an agreement. So the city commission has not seen any of those. And so none of those have occurred.
Great. Okay, I was just wondering about the process, and I know you guys are on that and working on it. So thank you for clarifying that.
Anybody else? Any motions? Commissioner Douglas.
Yes, I'll move approval of the proposed ordinance on first read, and move it forward for second reading because we need that second reading to establish the fee schedule, correct? Yeah.
Motion by Commissioner Douglas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Macy. All right, discussion. All right, with that, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Prush.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubuck.
Yes.
Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay. We'll see you back next time, Mr. Twing, with a fee schedule, and appreciate your efforts. Thank you. All right, this brings us to the last scheduled item. We still have two more after this, which is the Public Safety Communications Tower request to waive fees.
I will start that out. Good evening, Mayor Fournier and City Commissioners. Staff is bringing forward this request for a waiver of fees associated with the Public Safety Tower relocation project. This is in coordination with the City Civic Center project, which involves relocating the current tower, which is adjacent to the current police station, and to move that to the AT&T building several blocks away. The request was brought forward by the Oakland County Sheriff's Department through their emergency management operations. And they are in the midst of doing this tower relocation. In doing so, because of the pandemic has caused additional delays, and they're required to now build a temporary structure. So the building permit fees are not associated with the main tower relocation. This is just relative to a temporary structure that's being built. It's not very much money, but nevertheless, they asked for consideration. The other reason that I bring it under action items is that this is a significant endeavor, and it's worth noting the amount of time, energy, and effort that's put into this. This is part of Oakland County's, it's a $56 million upgrade to the communications effort, and that will enable better coordination between police, fire, and ambulance service that we benefit from. Hopefully there would never be a need, but nevertheless, if there was some sort of natural disaster or some other event that we would need to bring in public safety units from outside of our boundaries, that this would help bring about better coordination through the radio and data communication. So it's presented, it's only a $300 item, but again, it's to draw attention of this close partnership that we have with the Royal Oak Police Department, with the Oakland County Sheriff's Department, and it's a phenomenal effort. And with that upgrade, all the residents and even of Southeast Oakland County benefit from this effort. So really to draw attention to that, and defer if the Chief O'Donoghue is still available. If there's any additional comments, I would defer to him. Anything else that I have not described in this overview.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Brake or Chief O'Donoghue? Commissioner Prush.
When you talk about a temporary structure, is it another temporary tower type structure, or is it an actual building?
From my understanding, it's an actual building that holds the equipment that's associated with that. So that it's not two towers that we're building, but it's associated with that move.
Okay, I don't have any problem with this, but do we have any idea about the size? I know that there were some temporary electrical structures on the library lawn. Those are quite small. Are we talking about something that is as small as that, or is this a larger structure?
I believe so, but I'll defer to the chief on the actual size of it, but I don't think it's of anything of any significance.
Yes, Commissioner Prush, it is small. The county has leased a plot of land in that area, and so this structure will actually fit on their leased plot of land, so they can build a permanent structure. So it is very small. I don't know the exact dimensions, but it's similar to a hunting blind. In fact, that we're joking, we're going to use it for that once we move it out. So.
Okay. All right. That helps a lot. Not that I'm a hunter, but I kind of have an idea how big that is. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Well, we appreciate Mr. Brake and Chief O'Donoghue for bringing this to our attention, bringing awareness of the cooperation, collaboration, and partnership, and how, in the unlikely event, an unfortunate event of something happening where we need to really call upon, parties from the outside, that, this what we're doing here with the upgrades, a $56 million investment of the county into the communications towers, is really going to, enable us to be safer as a community, and the other surrounding communities as well, frankly. Anyone want to make a motion? Commissioner Perush?
I'll move approval of this recommendation.
Motion by Commissioner Perush, second by Commissioner Dubuck. Discussion. All right, with that, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Colo?
Yes.
Commissioner Dubuck?
Yes.
Macy?
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas?
Yes.
Commissioner Perush?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, this brings us to added item 18 to the agenda, which is the recommendation provided by outside counsel regarding to the 44th District Court case number 20-2286. And I believe it was Commissioner Douglas that made the agenda motion, so I'll hand it over to her.
Yes, Mayor, I would just like to make a motion to authorize our council to proceed as discussed on 44th District Court case number 20-2286.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Douglas. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Perush. All right, discussion. All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Perush?
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas?
Yes.
Commissioner Macy?
Yes.
Commissioner Dubuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Colo?
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, all right, we'll move forward with that recommendation. Which brings us to the final agenda item, added number 19, which is the resignation of Commissioner Lavasser. So those of you that are tuning in this evening, we had received an email from Commissioner Lavasser indicating or submitting actually his resignation from the Royal Oak City Commission after 3 years of service. You know, there's a few administrative things that we need to do upon any commissioner's submission of their resignation. First, this body, my understanding, Ms. McLaughlin, is that we have to, one, accept the resignation. And then from there, we can discuss you know, how to fill that vacancy that it leaves. Am I correct in my understanding?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. I know we've had to do this a couple times in the past. What I'm going to do to kind of kick off this discussion item is just read Commissioner Lavasser's letter, and then we can kind of start to get the dialogue going. And he's not here. He's not present tonight. He indicated to us that he wasn't going to make it tonight. So I will read his words, and we'll go from there. So this is dated November 23rd, 2020. This is addressed to City Clerk Hallis. After more than 32 years as a resident, I will be leaving Royal Oak. My wife and I have chosen to move a bit to the north where we will have a longer commute, but enjoy being surrounded by nature. As such, I cannot remain in my role as a city commissioner. I've enjoyed serving our residents and will miss the opportunity to continue doing so. The trust voters put in me to serve is one of the great honors of my lifetime. Royal Oak will always hold a very special place in my heart. I wish the city and its residents much happiness and prosperity. Sincerely, Randy Lavasser. P.S. I will not be participating in tonight's commission meeting. And also P.P.S. Mike will have to carry on the bad dad jokes on his own, which I'm sure is the most disappointing element that all could imagine with the resignation of Commissioner Lavasser. It's always disappointing to lose a team member, but the fact that I'm solely responsible for dad jokes is Commissioner Lavasser has hit that on, and you know, that's a travesty.
The pain is real.
The pain is real. I don't think he fully comprehends exactly the pain that he's causing everybody here with his resignation, but this is certainly one of the big pain points. You know, I'll say, you know, Commissioner Lavasser, it's not easy being a public servant. Certainly, it's not easy being engaged in any sort of service, especially in a volunteer capacity in today's political environment. And you know, it takes guts, it takes grit, it takes compassion. And Commissioner Lavasser has served the city for 3 years, and he stepped up to the plate, and he did the hard job on behalf of 60,000 people in this community. And participated in many different boards and in other meetings as commission representative, and certainly was here on a regular basis to help make important decisions on behalf of the city of Royal Oak. And although he can't be here tonight, so we can't necessarily speak to him directly, I just want him to know, on behalf of the city and behalf of myself and my family and my neighbors, we're very grateful for his willingness to step up and serve for 3 years and put the effort and time in. And we're grateful for that. Commissioner Dubuck.
Thank you, Mayor. Along the lines of what you said, best wishes to Commissioner Lavasser and his future endeavors, and with gratitude for his service, I will move to accept his resignation.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Dubuck, second by Commissioner Colo. Discussion. Commissioner Perush.
I'm just going to join all of you in thanking him for his years of service on not only this commission, but all of our various committees and so on, and wish him and his family all the best in the future.
Commissioner Colo.
So I would also like to wish Mr. Lavasser the best. We ran an election against each other and have always maintained a cordial relationship. He is a gentleman, and I wish nothing but the best for him in the future.
Thank you, Commissioner Colo. Commissioner Douglas.
Yeah, as we move forward, Mayor, I hope you will very quickly act on appointing a replacement for Mr. Lavasser to the Appointments Committee, because we have a big group of terms ending at the end of the year, and we're getting ready to meet as a committee. Commissioner Macy also serves with me there. So the sooner we can get that position filled, the sooner we can move forward with our task.
Okay, any other discussion on the motion? Commissioner Macy.
Just want to add my voice to saying goodbye to Commissioner Lavasser, who back when we had a commission table was my seatmate. I had him boxed in the corner over there, and when the rest of you were talking about Michigan State, we could give each other a little go blue glance. So for one last time, go blue.
Sorry, let that be stricken from the record, Ms. Hallis.
No. You have another Wolverine to join you now.
Oh, man.
Can we reconsider the contract for the city attorney?
How interim is this?
All right, anybody else? All right, well, I will call for the vote. We'll start with Commissioner Colo.
Yes.
Commissioner Dubuck.
Yes.
Commissioner Macy.
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas.
Yes.
Commissioner Perush.
Yes.
And I vote yes. And Commissioner Lavasser, if you're tuning in, we wish you the very best of luck in your future endeavors. We hope your move goes smoothly and well. And send us some photos and let us know how things are going, and check in from time to time, and wish you and your family and your wife a smooth transition to the next adventure in your life. And thank you for your service. Okay, that brings us to the end of the agenda, notwithstanding any other topics to discuss. Commissioner Perush.
We received the letter from Commissioner Lavasser about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So clearly any discussion about how we deal with that vacancy is probably inappropriate tonight. But I would just make a suggestion that we put it on our next commission agenda to begin the discussion as to how we fill that vacancy, and bring forth ideas as to how we're going to handle it, whether it's the same way we handled the vacancy created by Commissioner Gibbs leaving us, or any other method that we might want to suggest. But I would just suggest that we put it on the next city commission agenda for discussion.
Mr. Brake, do we need that in the form of a motion, or is that pretty much understood that we'll talk about that next meeting?
Yeah, we'll include that in the
Okay.
next agenda. So
Perfect. I think your point's very valid, Commissioner Perush. It's all a lot to process right now. And we can kind of, think about the process a little bit ahead of next week and have some time to have some thoughtful dialogue on it. Okay, anybody else? Commissioner Colo.
Commissioner Douglas, when does the appointments committee meet next? Is this an action we need to take tonight to refill the staff?
We were notified or were reminded by the city clerk that we did have a cycle of replacement appointments to make, and we've been given a list of candidates, and the three of us had not gotten together to choose a meeting date as of yet.
Commissioner Prush.
I guess as a follow-up question, if we were to put that on the agenda for the 7th of December, does that give you all enough time to, at least the two of you that are currently on it, enough time to get it done by the end of December? Or would it be helpful to appoint someone else this evening just to get the process moving?
I'm going to leave that to the mayor. I mean, even if the mayor, informally selected someone before December 7th, Commissioner Macy and I could huddle with that person and find a convenient date immediately after the 7th to meet, unless the mayor would like to act tonight.
We're talking about the appointments committee, right? We haven't changed our, okay, so, there's two ways of looking at this. I mean, you can have 3 members, but if you have 2, is that a quorum or do you need 3? And then I think the only challenge that you have is that if you 2 can't agree on a particular appointment, then, that's maybe where we'd have an issue. Am I wrong in my interpretation, or can anyone set me straight if I'm off base?
Well, an even numbered committee, a committee with an even number of members is certainly fraught with its own challenges, as we learned this afternoon.
I was going to make a joke about that. Preemptively. But I mean, it's really up to, I mean, I could even, well, I don't know if I can nominate myself to jump in as a sub.
Well,
Brewer?
if I may.
Sure, Commissioner Douglas and then Commissioner Brewer.
Well, so, no, that wasn't true. Oh, never mind.
We'll do Commissioner Perush and then Commissioner Colo.
Because I'm fuzzy on this, is this a mayoral appointment, or is this something that we just as a commission decided this is how we're going to divide ourselves? Commissioner DeBuck is nodding his head that it's the latter. If that's the case, then we have the authority as the 6 of us this evening to just say, okay, it's going to be you.
I'll go with Commissioner Colo and then Commissioner DeBuck.
Having never sat in the commission chamber, I was never divided between the 5 of you. So if we're picking seats now, I would like to sit next to Commissioner Macy instead of Commissioner DeBuck, and I would join that. And although our great clerk just told me I would have sat next to, I would sit on the other side.
Okay. We could assign Commissioner Colo also to get some experience, in this first round, and then, starting in the new year, if we have to recalibrate, we can. Commissioner DeBuck.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I was just going to move that we appoint Commissioner Colo to the vacancy on that side of the table's appointments committee, because we always do it just by our direction every session. So I think we have the authority now just to make that decision.
Yep.
That's a motion.
Okay, a motion by Commissioner DeBuck, second by Commissioner Douglas. Any discussion? All right, with none, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Prush?
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas?
Yes.
Commissioner Macy?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Colo?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right. Most important thing is the 2 people you're going to be serving with on that committee voted yes. So you're coming in with expectations, Commissioner Colo. I wasn't expecting that. No, I'm kidding. Oh, man. I think I'm diverting some of my dad jokes into pinging Commissioner Colo too much. I'll have to change my behavior a little bit before the next meeting. All right. Anything else anyone wishes to discuss tonight? Or if anyone wishes to move to adjourn, we can certainly entertain that. We have a motion by Commissioner Douglas, or Commissioner Douglas, rather. Move to adjourn? Yeah, okay. And we have a second by Commissioner Perush. Discussion on this agenda, or this motion. Commissioner Douglas.
I can't remember the last time I smiled so much at a commission meeting. From the activities at the library to the Hanukkah celebration to the restaurants changing hands so favorably in our downtown. It's just been such a happy, productive meeting, and I want to thank everybody for their contribution to that.
Yeah, good point. You know, we've had some pretty tough news and some pretty tough issues to tackle. And you know, tonight we had some positive news, and thank you for, you know, it's good to conclude on a strong note. Thank you, Commissioner Douglas. And by the way, your invocation was very pointed tonight, very well received, I think, by all of us. Great job.
Thank you.
That's another thing you can add to the positivity list of things tonight. All right. Any other discussion? All right. With none, I'll call for the vote. Commissioner Colo?
Yes.
Commissioner Dubuck?
Yes.
Commissioner Macy?
Yes.
Commissioner Douglas?
Yes.
Commissioner Perush?
Yes.
And I vote yes. We are adjourned. Once again, thank you to all the staff for making this meeting happen. Thank you to Richard and Carol for all their efforts behind the scenes. Run smoothly every meeting, and we know it takes a lot of work and effort. Thank you. Ms. McLaughlin, thank you for joining us tonight. It was a
Thank you
pleasure
for having
working
me.
with you. And we'll see everybody again on December 7th, the next meeting. All right. Good night,
Okay.
colleague.
Good night.